Sam,
Yep.
that was dirty.
Oh yeah.
That was icky.
I am right there with you. That was from jump not exactly what I wanted my Monday to look like, but so it went. But look, this is as we kind of alluded to in the last podcast. This is kind of the last team uh, that we wanted to play. They were obviously going to come to play, and they don't mess around.
We're the front office. I'm Eve. That's Sam. Let's talk about this nightmare. Sam, I was having a good day. My days kind of go like this, right? I wake up around 5 a.m., which is still a horrible time for the guys I work with. I work with engineers who are in Belarus, and one guy from Georgia that used to be in Belarus, and Ukraine. And so it's just young, talented engineers that I'm either developing apps for stuff I'm businesses that I'm building, or there's apps that I'm developing in partnership with others. So I'm up super early every day. I'm looking at stats and I'm finding little glimmers of hope. And, by 10 a.m., I've talked myself into, you know what? We may lose this game, but it's going to be pretty gutty. We've got some stuff that I don't know if they know we can do. And I got to tell you, Sam, I was pretty delusional. Dude, that was an ass whooping that, and it really was an indictment of not just the coaching, because some good things happened out there. I'm going to try to find the good things and we can talk about it. But I want to focus on that after I say this. That whole game was an indictment of what the Nets believe in as an organization in basketball.
Yep.
You're looking at guys. Were you impressed by Siakam?
I mean, honestly, like out of all the guys, he would be way lower on my list.
Like Siakam just he got 18. Yo, this was such a devastating loss that Ibaka is who led them in scoring. Like, they're the antithesis of everything we believe. Like, of course they won a championship with one superstar, but Masai Ujiri didn't go all in to figure out how to trade for two other superstars. He basically said, I just have to figure out a way to stop Giannis and stop Embiid. Those are my competitors in the East. I have Jonas Valanciunas. I forgot who else was in the front court back then. And he was like, these dudes aren't good enough. He gets Ibaka, and people clowned him for getting Ibaka because at first it didn't look like it was bringing them anywhere closer to winning a chip. They develop Siakam, and then they get Gasol. They get a former defensive player of the year and bring him in to do all the other things that lets Kawhi at the time be super Kawhi. And now they just have such a well-rounded, like every component fits. They know how to play winning basketball. And I don't want to call it like that it was him that was so much better than Jacques Vaughn. I refuse to indict Jacques Vaughn on this because this is about the players Sean Marks picked. Right? Like the guys Jacques Vaughn could only play the guys he had out there, and I'm sorry, but Garrett Temple was killing them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I exaggerating? What did you see with Temple?
He was like he was the difference in the game. He was the difference in the game being competitive for 2.5 to 3 quarters versus it basically being competitive for that little piece of the third and a little bit in the fourth. Like that was the difference. He basically, I don't know about you. I'm a big body language and psychological NBA doctor, and like I think his.
Oh, I want to hear this. Wait.
I think his missed threes early on, which were by the way wide open. Like there were shots that other guys were taking that were bad shots early on because people were just trying to find any type of rhythm. But he had wide open threes early on that allowed the lead to explode, and like.
Missing those shots are like punches to the gut,
right?
For a player, like just watching shots clank like that, and then so repetitively, like it shouldn't affect your game, but it throws your game off too because you're just watching, misses.
And something should be said, and something should be said also for the fact that. Look, the Nets were down big in the first quarter, and like in an NBA game, that's 12 minutes. That's like very up and down, and you have fouls and all this type of stuff. Like it's honestly hard to get your doors blown off in the first quarter, and they did, and a lot of that I thought was just due to the fact that they basically established no rhythm, and I thought a lot of that was due to Temple, and it kind of continued. Temple actually had success driving. But he really just did not have anything.
They only wanted that. That was the genius of the defense. They funneled the ball to Temple. They did everything to deny Joe Harris the ball. So Karras was making decisions like, okay, there's 3 men on me, wide open. It's Temple, and he just clanked them one after the other. And they were like, and then the other, I can barely talk. The other hilarious thing was watching how Nurse had everyone like one time Lowry realized he was guarding Temple. He ran away from him to guard to help guard Jarrett Allen, to remove the possibility that Karras could throw the lob to Jarrett Allen. He runs. He realizes, oh, this is Garrett Temple. He runs away from Garrett Temple to guard someone else. And when I saw that, I was like, how could they not see it? Garrett Temple played probably the most minutes in the game.
Yeah, as kind of it's been a consistent theme. I don't hate on him as much as you do, but I do. But I did think today. I think the way that you said it was perfect, which was that his misses were just repeated punches in the gut. Because that it was like in these types of games, it's one thing to not get contested twos and fadeaways to drop, but like when you're missing automatic threes, that's what leads to being down 33 points at some points in the second quarter. And look, we should also say that Toronto shot the lights out, and that's how they have this year. But Van Fleet, the way that he started was insane. Lowry was insane. Anunoby was crazy. Ibaka was crazy in the first half.
Yeah, I'm sorry. But that brings us to the other point of this, right? Van Vliet was, for all intents and purposes, Temple's man, and this was his highest scoring game ever. He had He had a career day on game one of the playoffs on Garrett Temple. I do not see what they see he does well. He literally was every time Nurse basically told the Raptors, every time you find yourself with Garrett Temple on you, go to the basket. Go to the basket. He will foul you, or he will completely miss you. There was a play where Ibaka gets his own rebound, right? And Rodions is down below, getting ready to guard the best he can. Ibaka bringing the ball back up, or was it Gasol? It was either Ibaka or Gasol. Either way, Rhodey's already outmatched. But then what makes it worse is the first person that got to him was Temple, and in the most hilarious, just kind of like how, like, just the microcosm of Temple's entire game is that he kind of brushes off of Gasol, ends up careening into Rodions, who's trying to recover to guard someone who's already bigger than him. Rhodey gets another foul after being basically knocked out of the way from Garrett Temple, and which makes the game even worse. Like the fact that they were down 30 in the first half just goes to show like how well they basically understood this is a ridiculously small team. They believe in this small thing, and we're just going to rape them because of it. Sorry to use a term like that. Let me rewind. They basically just disembowel the Nets tonight, just understanding clearly what the Nets do, and the Nets had no pivot for it.
And I totally echo all that. Look, I mean, like, this is the epitome of the worst case matchup. Like, you saw, like, I think we have to give a very quick round of applause to LeVert, who I thought we said before the pod that this was going to be like, or we said in the most recent pod that it was going to be a super hard matchup for him, and no matter who's on him, because Toronto had so many guys to throw at him, and LeVert quickly saw, like, I don't think scoring is going to be my best way, and he still, because he's so crafty and because he's so shifty, was able to garner a lot of attention, and it led to a lot of open cuts. I think a lot of his moves led to Cabarrot having a good game. TLC shot the lights out. This guy is completely on one right now. He should be on the Raptors the way that he should.
and what did I tell you? I said, he was going to be pivotal.
Yeah, you did. You called it.
And when he came in, he kind of, led the charge back, but.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna be a long series. I mean, the thing to hold, the only thing you can hold your hat on, and like that, which is, and this is basically it, was that if Temple makes a couple more shots, I think the game feels different, because no one on the Nets really played out of their mind, minus TLC, whereas like the Raptors just shot the lights out. The thing that I was surprised about, I do have to say on another note about the Raptors, was I thought they kind of went away from what was working for them early, which was like, I mean, Ibaka killed them in the second quarter.
Destroyed them.
And they kind of went away from that and struggled. And it was also interesting because a lot of their struggles came in the third quarter, where I think Lowry sat out like most, if not all, of that quarter. But look, Jacques Vaughn is not working with a lot. And the last thing also that I wanted to say on this topic is the two guys who I actually think today would have made a difference, and you can call me crazy, the two guys that could have helped him today would have been Jamal Crawford and Michael Beasley. This was like the prototypical